Hey everybody, it's so good to see you guys. I hope y'all are doing well. Thank you guys so much for being in here. It means a lot. I go in and say hello to everybody. Let's see who's first. I believe it's Wild Angel. Hello, Wild Angel. Good to see you, honey. I hope you're doing well. Hello, Rocket Queen. Good to see you, love. I hope you're doing good. Hello, Ghost Devil Brother. I hope you're feeling better. It's good to see you. Hello, Mama Digger Duck. Good to see you, love. I hope you're doing well. Miss Evie, good to see you, honey. I hope you're doing good. And Hippie Grandma, good to see you, love. I hope you're doing well. Hello, Nani. Good to see you, honey. I hope you're doing good. What's up, LBG? Good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing well. And Rift, good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing good. Hey, Rachel J. Good to see you, honey. I hope you're doing well, darling. All right, guys. Tonight we are going to talk about the life of Stephen King. Hey, Beachy. Good to see you. I hope you're doing good. Sorry about that, guys. All right. So I always go over what we're going to talk about because I know people have a hard time seeing. I'm one of them. A lot of people use their phones and tablets. So I always go over what we're going to be talking about. And you guys voted for him. You guys voted for him Tuesday. So it says The Life of Stephen King. It says tonight we're going to talk about the life of Stephen King. What influence has he had on people's lives? Does he suffer with mental health? What positivity does he give to the world in his movies and books? Hashtag Stephen King horror, man of horror. That's what he was called, or that's what he has been called. Mental health, life, bio, inspiration, motivation, example, life, community, director, because he's directed, I believe, all his movies, guys. Author, support, and awareness. All right. Just a minute and I'll pull up the information. Thank you guys so much for being in here. It means a lot. All right. I use this. Love you guys too. I use this website. Hello, Sunshine. Good to see you, honey. I hope you're doing well. I've used this website for the couple of people we've talked about, guys. And I think it's great. It has useful information. And we're going to go over it. It's the biography of Stephen King. It says Stephen King is a New York Times best-selling novelist who made his name in the horror and fantasy genres. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. With books like Carrie, The Shining, and It. Much of his work has been adapted for film and TV. Sorry, guys. He was born in 1947. Who is Stephen King? If y'all don't know who Stephen King is, which most people do, that's what he looks like. Who is Stephen King? Stephen King was born on September 21st, 1947, in Portland, Maine. He graduated from the University of Maine and later worked as a teacher while establishing himself as a writer, having also published work under the pseudonym Richard Bachman. King's first horror, Lord, I can't even talk tonight, guys. I apologize. Horror novel Carrie was a huge success. Over the years, King has become known for the titles that are both commercially successful and sometimes critically acclaimed. His books have sold more than 350 copies worldwide and have been adapted into numerous successful films. Early life and education. It says Stephen Edwin King. That's his full name, I believe so. Now, that's what it says. He was born on September 21st, 1947 in Portland, Maine. King is recognized as one of the most famous and successful horror writers of all times. His parents, Donald and Nellie Ruth Pillsbury King, split up when he was very young, and he and his brother David divided their time between Indiana and Connecticut for several years. King later moved back to Maine with his mother and brother. There he graduated from Lisbon Falls High School in 1966. King stayed close to home for college, attending the University of Maine at Orono. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing these right, guys. I apologize. There he wrote for the school's newspaper and served in its student government. While in school, King published his first short story, which appeared in Startling Mystery Stories. After graduating with a degree in English in 1970, he tried to find a position as a teacher, but had no luck at first. King took a job in a laundry, in a laundry. That's worded kind of weird, but okay. In a laundry, and continued to write stories in his spare time until late 1971, when he began working as an English educator at Hamden Academy. It was that year that he also married fellow writer Tabitha Spruce. King of thrills and chills. In 1973, King sold his first novel, Carrie, the tale of a tormented teen who gets revenge on her peers. The book became a huge success after it was published the following year, allowing him to devote himself to writing full time. It was later adapted for the big screen with Sissy Spacek. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing these correctly, guys. I'm trying. As the title character. More popular novels soon followed, including Salem's Lot, 1975, The Shining, 1977, Firestarter is 1980, Cujo is 1981, and It is 1986. While making novels about vicious, rabid dogs and sewer-dwelling monsters, as seen in Cujo and It, respectively, King published several books as Richard Bachman. 4 early novels, Rage 1977, The Long Walk 1979, Roadwork 1981, and The Running Man 1982, were published under the moniker because of King's concern that the public wouldn't accept more than one book from the author within a year. He came up with Alice after seeing a novel by Richard Stark on his desk, actually a pseudonym used by Donald Westlake, coupled with what he heard playing on his record player at the time, You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet by Bachman Turner Overdrive. Television and film adaptations. Although many of King's works were made into film or TV adaptations, Cujo and Firestarter were released for the big screen in 83 and 84 respectively, while It debuted in the miniseries in 1990. The film The Shining, released in 1980 and starring Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall, became renowned horror thriller that has stood the test of time. For a good portion of his career, King wrote novels and stories at a breakneck speed. He published several books per year for much of the 1980s and 1990s. His compelling, thrilling tales have continued to be used at the basis of numerous films for the big and small screens. Actress Kathy Bates and actor James Caan starred in the critically and commercially successful adaptation of Misery in 1990. Hello, Casper. It's good to see you, honey. I hope you're doing well, sweetheart. With Bates winning an Oscar for her performance as the psychotic Annie Wilkes. 4 years later, The Shanshawk Redemption, starring Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman, and based on one of his stories, became another acclaimed outing with multiple Oscar nominations. King's 1978 novel The Stand became a 1994 miniseries with Molly Ringwald and Gary Sinise in the lead, while the mid-90s serialized outing The Green Mile was turned into a 1999 prison-based film starring Tom Hanks and Michael Clarke Duncan. I like that movie. That's a really good movie. Both of those movies are good, Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile. Later work, King continues to create and be involved in proactive projects. He has worked directly in television, writing for series like Kingdom Hospital and Under the Dome, with the later based on his 2009 novel. In 2011, he published 11/22/63, a novel involving time travel as a part of an effort to stop the assassination of President JFK. King also wrote Joyland in 2013, a Pulp Fiction style thriller that takes readers on a journey to uncovering who's behind an unsolved murder. And he surprised audience by releasing Dr. Sleep in 2013, a sequel to The Shining, with Sleep hitting #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. The novelist then published Mr. Mercedes in 2014, with Finders Keepers in 2015, and End of Watch in 2016. Rounding out the crime trilogy in 2017, he teamed with son Owen to deliver Sleeping Beauties, about a mysterious pandemic that leaves women enveloped in cocoons. Ooh, that sounds interesting. That year, he polished off another collaboration with Richard Chizmar on the Novia Wendy's Button Box. Meanwhile, adaptations of King's work have continued to populate the big and small screens. In 2007, the first season of Mr. Mercedes began airing on the Audience Network, while a remake of the horror classic It enjoyed a hefty box office haul. In 2019, an adaptation of Dr. Sleep and It Chapter 2 hit theaters, along with the reboot of another signature King property, Pet Sematary. That year also brought the publication of the tireless writer's 61st novel, The Institute, about children with supernatural abilities who are taken from their parents and incarcerated by a mysterious organization. Personal life. King and his novelist wife divide their time between Florida and Maine. They have 3 children, Naomi, Rachel, and Reverend Joseph Hillstorm, who writes under the pen name Joe Hill and is lauded horror fiction writer in his own right. And Owen Phillip, whose first collection of stories was published in 2005. In horror of this prolific output and success in his craft, King was among the recipients of the National Medal of Arts in 2015. Outside of writing, King is a music fan. He even sometimes plays guitar and sings in a band called Rock Bottom Remainders, with fellow literary stars like Dave Barry, Barbara Kingsolver, and Amy Tan. The group has performed a number of times over the years to raise money for charity. Well, that is awesome. That's awesome. I've never heard of that band, but that's awesome. This is quick facts about him. The name is Stephen Edwin King, birth year 1947, birth date September 21st, 1947. Birth state was Maine. Birth city, Portland. Birth country, United States. Gender, male. Best known for Stephen King is a New York Times best-selling novelist who made his name in the horror and fantasy genres with books like Carrie, The Shining, and It. Most of his work has been adapted for film and TV. Industries, fiction, and poetry, astrological sign, vertigo, schools, Durham Elementary School, University of Maine, and Lisbon Falls High School. Let's see. Here's his quotes. Here's some of his quotes, guys. French is the language that turns dirt into romance. We make up horrors to help us cope with the real ones. Ain't that the truth? As a writer, I've always been confrontational. I've never been cool. I've never been calculating. There are plenty of people who have got lots of talent. This world is lousy with talent. The idea is to work that talent and try to be the best person you can, given the limits of the talent that God gave you, or fate, or genetics, or whatever name you want to put on it. Oh, I'm scared. I'm petrified of clowns, guys. I really am. I'm scared to death of clowns. All right. Here's another one. This is another biography. It just has a little bit more information, guys. Hey, everybody. This one's from IDB. No, I don't. No, I do not. I'm petrified of them. Stephen King biography. There he is in the corner. I don't know if y'all can see it real well. It's tiny. This is overview. Born September 21st, 1947, Portland, Maine, USA. Birth name Stephen Edwin King. Nicknames the King of Horror, the Master of Mystery. His height is 6'4" or 1.93, I guess, meters, whatever that means. Okay, this is a mini bio. Stephen Edwin King was born on September 21st, 1947 in Maine General Hospital in Portland. His parents were Nellie Ruth Pillsbury, who worked as the caregiver at a mental institute, and Donald Edwin King, a merchant seaman. His father was born under the surname Pollock, but used the name King, under which Stephen was born. He has an older brother, David. The Kings were a typical family until one night when Donald said he was stepping out for cigarettes and was never heard from again. Ruth took over raising the family with help from relatives. They traveled throughout many states over several years, finally moving back to Durham, Maine in 1958. Hello, Becca. Good to see you, honey. I hope you're doing well, sweetheart. Stephen began his actual writing career in January 1959 when David and Stephen decided to publish their own local newspaper named Dave's Rag. David brought a monograph machine and they put together a paper they sold for 5 cents an issue. Stephen attended Lisbon High School in Lisbon in 1962, collaborating with his best friend Chris Chelsea. In 1963, they published a collection of 18 short stories called People, Places, and Things, Volume 1. King's stories included Hotel at the End of the Road, I've Got to Get Away, The Dimension Warp, The Thing in the Bottom of the Well, The Stranger, I'm Falling, The Cursed Expedition, and The Other Side of the Fog. A year later, King's Immature Press, Trad and Gaslight Books published a 2-part book titled The Star Invaders. King made his first actual published appearance in 1965 in the magazine Comics Review with his story, I Was a Teenage Grave Robber. The story ran about 6,000 words in length. In 1966, he graduated from high school and took a scholarship to attend the University of Maine. Looking back on his high school days, King recalled that my high school career was totally undistinguished. I was not at the top of my class nor at the bottom. Later this summer, King began working on a novel called Getting It On about some kids who take over a classroom and try unsuccessfully to ward off the National Guard. During his first year of college, King completed his first full-length novel, The Long Walk. He submitted the novel to Bennett Cerf Random House only to have it rejected. King took the rejection badly and filed the book away. He made his first small sale, $35, with the story The Glass Floor. In June 1970, King graduated from the University of Maine with a Bachelor of Science degree in English and is certified to teach high school. King's next idea came from the poem of Robert Browning, Childe Roland in the Dark Tower Cane. He found bright-colored green paper in the library and began to work on the Dark Tower saga, but his chronic shortage of money meant that he was unable to further pursue the novel, and it too was filed away. King took a job at filling station, pumping gas for the princely sum of $1.25 an hour. Soon he began to earn money for his writings by submitting his short stories to men's magazines such as Caviar. On January the 2nd, 1971, he married Tabitha King, born Tabitha Jane Spruce. In the fall of 1971, King took on a teaching job at Hampton Academy, earning $6,400 a year. The Kings then moved to Herman, a town of Bangor. Stephen then began to work on a short story about a teenage girl named Carrietta White. After completing a few pages, he decided it was not worthy story and crumbed the pages up and tossed them into the trash. Fortunately, Tabitha took the pages out and read them. She encouraged her husband to continue the story, which he did. In January 1973, he submitted Carrie to Doubleday. In March, Doubleday bought the book. On May 12th, the publisher sold the paperback rights for the novel to New American Library for $400,000. His contract called for his getting half of that sum, and he quit his teaching job to pursue writing full time. The rest, as they say, is history. Thank you guys so much for being in here. It truly means a lot to me. Please hit that like and share and subscribe if y'all haven't done so already. Thank you guys so much. Since the King has had numerous short stories and novels published and movies made from his work, he has been called the master of horror. His books have been translated into 33 different languages, published over 35 different countries. There are over 300 million copies of his novels in publication. He continues to live in Bangor, Maine, with his wife and writes out of his home. In June of 1999, King was severely injured in an accident. He was walking alongside a highway and was hit by a car, then left him in critical condition with injuries to his lung, broken ribs, and a broken leg, and a severely fractured hip. After 3 weeks of operations, he was released from the Central Maine Medical Center in Lewiston. Family. His spouse is Tabitha King. They was married January the 2nd, 1971 to present. They have 3 children. Their children is Naomi Rachel King, Joe Hill, Owen Philip King. Parents are Nellie Ruth Pillsbury, Donald Edwin King, and the relatives are David King. I guess that is his brother. Oh, thank you so much, Digger Duck. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Thank you so much, honey. Thank you, honey. Trademarks. Thank you guys so much. This is his trademarks, guys. Usually set stories in Maine, particularly Until Needful Things in a small town of Castle Rock, which he created. Most of his lead male characters are writers. Almost always has cameo in the movies or miniseries based on his novels. Makes references to his previous novels and his books. Horror and fantasy themes, supernatural events happening to everyday people, Indian burial grounds. Uses single words or phrases as foreshadowing red rum in The Shining. Children in his books are often killed or unalived, such as Gage in The Pet Cemetery and Rage Barra in The Body. Many of his earlier works gave life to the inanimate objects, turning them into homicidal monsters. Often depict small town life, particularly in the fictional Castle Rock, as having a dark and dangerous underside to it. Love you, Lorraine, honey. Stories about small town communities facing a supernatural force. Common theme is characters being isolated or trapped from the outside world. Families are often portrayed as deeply dysfunctional or broken. Fathers tend to be alcoholics and domineering or abusive, while mothers tend to be meek or self-deluded. Characters who have trouble and evil, even harmful relationships with religion. Margaret White and Carrie Fathers Callahan in Salem's Lot. Vera Smith in The Dead Zone. Miss Carmody in The Mist. Thank you guys so much. And this is his trivia. I don't know why it says trivia, but I think these are just like useful facts, guys. After watching the first cut of Rob Reiner's Stand By Me in 1986, he was said to be crying and stated it was the closest adaptation to one of his novels he ever seen. In the 1980s, he was battling a drug addiction. At the time, his wife organized a group of family and friends and confronted him. She dumped onto the floor of his trash can, which included beer cans, cigarette butts, cough and cold medicines, and various drug paraphernalia. Her message to him was, get help or get out. We love you, but we don't want to witness your unaliving. He got help and was able to become clean and sober, which is excellent. I just appreciate you guys being in here. It means a lot. It truly does, guys. King owns 2 neighboring houses in Bangor. He wanted to build an underground tunnel with a trolley you could ride between them. Thank you, Rocket Queen Annie. Thank you, darling. Thank you, honey. I love you guys. Thank you. Hey, hey, Leonard. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Says we're allowing aspiring filmmakers to purchase the film rights, but not Tyler Levy, to any of his short stories, and only short stories, not novels, for $1. The resulting films are sent directly to him, and if he enjoys them, placed on the shelf marked Dollar Babies. Thank you so much, Nani. I love you too, honey. Thank you, guys. You don't need to have to do that. I just truly appreciate you being here with me and supporting me and Rebel. It means a lot. King writes for 3 to 4 hours a day. He used to write 2,000 to 3,000 words a day. Now he can only manage 1,000. Thank you so much, Hippie Grandma. Thank you, guys. Thank you guys so much. Since the publication of Carrie in 1974, his books have never been out of print and rare featuring for author. Wrote The Running Man, a 304-page novel, in only 10 days. King has dealt with Castle Rock, They can have his work for $1. But he gets script approval. He approves the director, cast approval, and he can pull the plug anytime, no matter how much money was spent. He gets a 5% of every dollar. So in case of The Green Mile in 1999, he has made $25 million. Famously disliked Stanley Kubrick's The Shining in 1980, which was adapted from his novel of the same name. King was opposed to the casting of Jack Nicholson, who, in his opinion, did not accurately portray the gradual descent into madness that the book had described. He also laminated. Thank you, guys. He also eliminated that many story elements, some of them autobiographical and important to King, had not been included, such as alcoholism and his father's issue. King therefore produced a miniseries of The Shining in 1997 that follows the novel more closely, but is generally regarded as inferior to Kubrick's interpretation. We love you, Evie, honey. A little boy, he had a recurring nightmare in which he entered a room and saw an unalive victim hanging from the ceiling. He later incorporated this scene into an early book, Salem's Lot, revealed that he was suffering from macular degeneration, a currently incurable condition which will most likely lead to blindness. Not long after 9/11, someone left a package on King's doorstep that I don't know if I could say this or not, but the B Squad was called in and incinerated it. It turns out it was King's novel It. Certified by Guinness Superlatives, the Book of World Records group, as having the most number of motion pictures adaptations by a living author. He will never co-author a book with his wife because he feels that if he ever did, it would lead to divorce court. A recovering alcoholic, King noted in his book on writing that he was drunk virtually the whole time of writing the book Cujo, and to this day barely remembers writing any of it. Writes 3 drafts for every book. Would like to write a novel about the thing that scares him the most is spiders. Well, I agree with him right there. I'm scared to death of spiders too. Spiders and clowns. He belongs to a sorry about that, guys. Rebel was asking me something. It says it scares him the most is spiders. He belongs to an all-rider rock band called the Rock Bottoms Remainders, which authors such writers as Amy Tan, Dave Barry, Scott Turow, Roy Blunt Jr., and James Lucas McBride. Their motto is, according to Barry, we play music as well as Metallica writes novels. King invented the pseudonym Richard Bachman to see if he could market books without the attachment of his more famous name. The one question King hates to be asked more than any other by the fans is, where do you get your ideas? King suffers from insomnia and later wrote a book about it. In 2011, his fondness for the Harry Potter books came full circle when it was announced that Potter director David Yates and screenwriter Steve Knowles. Oh, thank you so much, Beachy honey. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Y'all didn't have to do this, but it means a lot. Thank you guys so much. I just appreciate y'all being in here with me. And like I said, supporting me in Rebel. It truly does mean a lot. Would be making a new adaptation of his novel, The Stand. All 3 of his children, as well as his wife, have followed his footsteps into writing. When it was discovered in 1985 that he and Richard Bachman were one and the same, he retired the use of the name. He resurrected Bachman about a decade later, using the name as the author of The Regulators, a companion piece to his own novel Desperation. Since then, he has issued other new novels using the name Bachman, with the Dust Jackets jokingly claiming the books to have been a posthumous discovery by Bachman's widow. Bachman is said to have passed away in 1985 from cancer of the pseudonym. I don't know what that is, but that's what it says. Hit the number one bestseller list 36 times and is still disappointed when he doesn't. King has never understood why people find The Shining 1980 so scary. I've never even seen The Shining. I'm kind of scared to watch it. Newspapers reported that he has brought the van that hit him on June. He plans to hammer it to pieces on the anniversary of the accident. One of the only times he has scared himself with his own writing is when Patrick Hotstetter of It gets trapped in the refrigerator with leeches. He's the most successful American writer in history. It is falsely rumored that he will not sign autographs because of superstition. Actually, he doesn't sign them because he hates the idolatry of celebrities. He also will not endorse an official fan club for the same reason. He will sign autographs not only to book signings, according to his official website. Another rumor, perhaps started by King, claims that if sent a book to sign, he will burn it and return it the ashes. This is also untrue and was debunked by his official website. Wow. That's crazy. Yes, thank you guys so much. It truly means a lot. Thank you guys so much. He prefers to be called Stevie. Wow. He prefers to be called Stevie, guys. Thank you so much, Lorraine, honey. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Hold on just a second, guys. It truly means a lot. It truly does. Y'all didn't have to do this, but it means a lot. It really does. Thank you guys so much. All right. Thank you guys. I love you all. Thank you guys. Says he has the fear of number 13, which is called, and I cannot pronounce this word. If y'all can pronounce this word, it would be, let me try to see if I can. I don't know if you guys can see. It's this word right here. And that one right there. If y'all can pronounce that word, more power to you, because I am trying to figure it out. I will try. With my southern accent, I will try my best. Trisked. Phobia. I don't know. But that word. Triskaidekaphobia. Well, I tried, guys. I tried. But anyway, King gets depressed when people say The Stand is the best book because that was written 3 decades ago and implies he hasn't written anything as good since. It says, I know lives have occurred in 3 of the houses the King's family have lived on. Wow. The fictional town of Castle Rock is located in Maine. Stand By Me, 1986, accidentally set it to Oregon. This is because the original story, The Body, only mentions that Castle Rock is near Portland without identifying which state. It is only identified as being in Maine in other stories. This only clue in The Body that it takes place in Maine is the fact that the local radio stations begin with W, which, with only a few exceptions, applies only to the stations east of the Mississippi River. On the night King's mother passed, his son had a terrible choking fit at home. He had a fear of choking ever since his mother passed, drove him further to drink. He'd like to direct a film now that he's totally sober. I thought he already directed films. I might have been wrong about that, but I thought he already directed films. Because The Shining came from a very personal place, King managed to write the book very quickly. The subject matter hit so close to King that he took time out from it to work on his next novel, The Stand. He has fears of therapists. He had to conquer the fear during the worst stages of alcoholism and drug addiction. He hates being famous. He's also uncomfortable in large crowds. I don't blame him there. In 1992, he and wife Tabitha King gave donation to build Mansfield Stadium in Bangor, Maine. The only condition Stephen had was the scoreboard would be placed such that he could see from his house while working. In August of 2002, he threw the first pitch of the opening of the Senior League Baseball World Series. The Kings were honored for their generosity with an inscribed stone monument shaped like a home plate. Hello, Kenzie C. It's good to see you, honey. I don't know if I said hi to you or not, but it's good to see you, sweetheart. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're feeling better, honey. People will often camp outside King's house to get a view of the great author. A man named Eric King broke in April 20th, 1991 at 6 a.m. He threatened Tabitha with a bee, claiming King stole the idea for Misery from King's aunt. She ran to a neighbor and called the police. They found King in the attic with a bee, which was a dud. He was arrested and sentenced to 18 months in jail before he was extradited to Texas for the parole violation. The Kings increased security by extending a wrought iron fence around the yard gates with access codes as well as CCTV. Suffers from high blood pressure, limited vision, flat feet, and punctured eardrums. These spared him from being drafted into Vietnam. Worked as an English teacher before becoming a professional writer. Many of his characters are also teachers. Many of the stories take place in or near the fictional small town of Castle Rock, Maine. The first film to be based on the Castle Rock story was The Dead Zone. Director Rob Reiner subsequently named his production company Castle Rock Entertainment. Oh, prayers, Kenzie, honey. Prayers, sweetheart. Well, you're welcome, darling. By 1987, the family lived in a 24-room restored Victorian mansion. King was accidentally hit in the back by a minivan while walking on Route 5 near North Lowville, Maine. He suffered a broken leg, a bruised lung, and head laceration. The driver of the van was distracted by his dog. King was found lying in depression about 14 feet off the road and appeared to have been thrown by a collision. The van's windshield was broken, and the right front corner of the car was crunched in from the impact of striking King. Scored a 1300s on the SAT. Brian Smith, the van driver who hit King in 1999, had a history of driving offenses, and his license had been suspended 3 times by the time of the accident. He was indicted for aggravated assault and driving to endanger. He later passed a drug overdose. Repeated the first grade because of frequent absences. King has a library made of 17,000 books. He has read them all except for any new additions. Often listens to hard rock music during the time he writes to get inspired. He also plays in a rock band himself. When King was hit by a van in 1999, he was lucky to not have been killed outright. While in recovery, one of his lungs had collapsed. He had broken ribs, a gash to the head that needed 20 stitches, and his spine was chipped in 8 places. His right leg almost been amputated. Hello, Lorraine. Good to see you, sweetheart. Thank you so much for sending that, sweetheart. You didn't have to do that, but thank you so much, honey. I hope you're doing well, darling. And his spine was chipped in 8 places. His right leg almost had been amputated, but doctors managed to save it. The only thing unmanaged in the accident was the lenses to King's glasses. Hello, Mama P.I. Good to see you, honey. I hope you're doing well, sweetheart. He later replaced the fake. Lord have mercy, I can't even talk. He later replaced the frame. Was such a fan of the film 28 days later in 2002 that he bought out an entire showing of the film in New York City. His characters frequently meet other characters from the Stephen King books. In Tommyknockers, for example, poet Jim Gardner encounters Jack from The Talesman on the beach. King novels are criticized for having a lot of swearing. This is commented on ironically by King himself in Misery of the Tommyknockers. Claimed that he realized that he was alcoholic when he began to save bottles for recycling. The piles of empty bottles made clear how much he drank regularly. A rumor circulated for years that he did not want to complete his novel Pet Sematary, as it frightened him to do any writing for it. King or Doubleday, the publisher, may have started this story, and while not exactly true, it is partially based in fact. King fell into depression while writing it and had no desire to complete it while feeling the strong mechanically. Thank you so much, Becca, honey. Thank you. Much love to you too, sweetheart. His memoir on writing has been praised by Roger Ebert as the most useful and insightful book about writing since The Elements of Style. His name, J.K. Rowling, as his favorite author. Dogs are often described as monsters or the opposite, victims in his book and films like Cujo, 1983, or Pet Sematary, 1989. Does some of his book tours on motorbike. Cites Sir William Golding's novel Lord of the Flies as a major influence on him. One of the chapters in his book was Castle Rock, which later became the name of fictional town in several of King's stories. King published 7 novels: Rage, The Long Walk, Roadwork, The Running Man, Thinner, The Regulators, and Blaze, under the pseudonym Richard Bachman. The description of the character Ben Mears in Salem's Lot is taken from King himself. He's a huge fan of the ABC TV show Lost 2004, which often makes references to his works. He entrusted J.J. Abrams and Damien Lindelof to adapt the Dark Tower series into a film series. Adaptations of his work have featured 2 generations of Sheens and Sutherlands. Kiefer Sutherland appeared by Stand By Me in 1986, while Donald Sutherland appeared in Salem's Lot in 2004. Martin Sheen and Raymond Estevez both appeared in The Dead Zone in 1983, and Emilio Estevez appeared in Maximum Overdrive in 1986. In October 1995, King broke his own record by having 4 books hit the New York Times bestsellers list: Skeleton Crew, Thinner, The Talesman, and the Bachman books. Regularly listens to audiobooks because he believes no book exists until it's done in audio. Never answers his own phone. During King's recovery after being knocked down by a van in 1999, he was appalled when he was hooked on a M-drip with his former and past as a drug addict. He didn't become re-addicted by doctors keeping him below the recommended dose. He could feel the craving bubbling to the surface, but this time experience prepared him to recognize the danger signs. By the time he came home, he had lost 40 pounds. None of the nurse cracked any misery jokes, but he had said he would have appreciated the dark irony. He could only write for up to an hour and a half every day, so he spent the winter in Florida. The warm weather would aid his recovery. He still needs to walk with a cane, though, after accepting a literary award in 2003. He had a relapse and had spent another month in the hospital. He weighed 160 pounds and nearly passed. Tabitha took the opportunity to refurbish his office. His novel Misery is about a writer with recurrent character in a long series of books. He was in a serious car accident after finishing the last book in series. King was himself in the middle of an ongoing series, The Dark Tower, when he was hit by a truck in 1999. Surviving the accident is what ultimately prompted him to finish the series. He has recently decided to write one more book in the series, to be entitled The Wind in the Keyhole, due for 2012 release. In misery, the writer also decided to continue writing his series after surviving his encounter with an obsessed fan. These are his children. Naomi Rachel was born in 1970. Joseph Hill Storm, 1972. Owen Philip Witches in 1977. The first author to have three simultaneous, I can't even say that word, but you know what I'm talking about, titles on the publisher's weekly list: Firestarter, The Dead Zone, and The Shining. When writing Doctor Sleep, King had to be reminded of things from The Shining he'd forgotten. When King... You're fine, Lorraine. Hello, mermaid. Good to see you, love. Hope you're doing well, darling. Okay, let's see. Where am I? I apologize, guys. Let's see. It says, I'm trying to see where I was at. When writing Dr. Sleep, King had to be reminded of things The Shining he'd forgotten. When King wrote The Shining, the lead character was struggling with alcoholism, just as King was at the time. The King didn't know about AA, so Jack Torrance didn't go. But when King wrote the book as a miniseries, he did go. I don't think she meant to, guys. I don't think she meant to. Let's see. King once flew in a plane that ran into turbulence. The oxygen mask came out and his seat was ripped from the floor and he landed on his side, still strapped in. It was a while before he could get on a plane again. And in later years, movie studios and production companies snapped up the film's right for King's novel before the books saw print. Dolores Claiborne. Brian Smith, the driver of the van that hit King, passes away. King said in a statement, I was very sorry to hear the passing of Brian Smith. The death of a 43-year-old man can only be termed untimely. He was good friends with war director George A. Romero. King is down to 3 cigarettes a day. He kicked alcohol, the C drug, painkillers, but he's still addicted to work and goes into similar withdrawals when he's not working. In 1988, he was offered the chance to write and direct A Nightmare on Elm Street, The Dream Child in 1989. I'm sorry. The first American to win the Lifetime Achievement Award was the Canadian Booksellers Association. When his wife Tabitha King, while the two were working at the Folger Library as students at the University of Maine in Rowan, Maine. Son Joseph Hill Storm King is also a novelist. He spent the past several years writing under the pen name Joe Hill, the name of the labor leader who was also a namesake. Read many stories about people being buried alive. Had the idea for the Dark Terror series before he was established author. Estimated annual salary is $40 million. A fan of J.K. Rowling and the Harry Potter novels. That's a lot, guys. But this is Stephen King's 10 writing tips. I'm just going to go over them real fast. Number 1, if you don't succeed, get it bigger now. Number 2, write 6 pages a day. Number 3, go where the story leads you. Number 4, the good ideas will stay with you. Number 5, first you read and copy other writers. Then little by little, you develop your own style. Number 6, writing and self-hypothesis. You need to have a routine. Number 7, start with short stories and let them develop into novels or screenplays. Number 8, learn to write in different mediums. Number 9, look for ideas that would really enjoy writing for long periods. Number 10, get immersed in your writing process until the outside world is gone. The one thing the king is reluctant to write is an autobiography. The nearest he's ever come to that is the CV section of his non-fictional book on writing. HBO paid $1.5 million for the rights to the novel Rose Madder. Oh, you're fine, Mama P.I., sweetheart. Lorraine, honey, you don't have to leave, sweetheart. You don't have to leave, darling. We love you. You're fine. It happens. It's all good. You're good, honey. He has a fear of flying. He once suffered an injury on an airplane when it flew into turbulence, which no doubt exacerbated his fear. Underwent surgery to remove scar tissue and fluid from his lungs from a bout of pneumonia. Once said that his favorite personal horror movie was Tourist Trap in 1979, and his favorite film of unknown origin is 1983. Hello, Jeannie. Good to see you, honey. I don't know who Rose Madder is. If y'all know who Rose Madder is, please let me know, because I have no idea who Rose Madder is. No clue. Don't know. Good to see you, Miss Jeannie. Thank you so much for being in here, sweetheart. It truly means a lot. Y'all don't know how much it means to me. Truly, it does. Because I'm really not a bad person, guys. Once said his favorite personal horror movie was Tourist Trap and his film of unknown origin. His novels are frequently adapted to the screen by Frank Darabont, Nick Garris, and Rob Reiner. A huge fan of Neil Gaiman. This is just a lot. It just kind of goes over like a lot of his movies. Like, I'll go on real fast. Needful Things, The Stand, Creep Show, The Dark Half, Stand By Me, Misery. Let's see. The Stand, The Green Mile, Hearts in Atlantis, The Lanegoers, Salem's Lot, The Dark Half, Secret Window, The Mist, Dreamcatcher, The Shawshank Redemption. Let's see, The Green Mile. Let's see, I'm trying to see. And Christine, Misery, Needful Things, The Stand. It's got like, I know, but I feel like I am, guys. Anyway, it's got a lot of them. Guys. It says portions of King's writing from when he was 9 years old appears in the 1993 book, First Words, edited by Paul Mandel, available at Anquin Books. On 3 radio stations in Maine, one has been named AP Station of the Year more than once, online and zoneradio.com. King played guitar badly in high school band. He would often change the lyrics into something gross but funny on the spot. When touring with the Rock Bottom Remainers, they needed extra security because of the King's presence. Thank you so much, Becca, honey. He is an avid Red Sox fan. Before the Sox won in 2004 World Series, he said he wanted his tombstone in TAF to be single sock and a line, "Not in my lifeline, not in yours either." In 2009, he fulfilled his lifeline ambition expressed in Salem's Lot and being interviewed in Playboy magazine. The magazine also published a poem by King entitled "The Born Church," which featured an immortal line, "And balls to your grinning face." Wow. Before he wrote Carrie, he first published novels. King wrote a few practice novels. First, under his pseudonym, Richard Bachman, he called them trunk novels. There's 45 more, guys, and I have a lot more. So y'all are more than welcome to go on this website. It's imdb.com/Stephen King. There's a lot more, but I've covered a lot. I've covered a lot of his trivia. And then here, Here is some of his quotes. I mean, like there's still quite a bit. Thank you so much. I mean, I'm just going to say it right here, right now. Long story short, it's just awful how people treat people and think it's okay. Here's the quotes. I killed enough of the world's trees. I'm a Salem writer. I try to write good salami, but salami is salami. Each life makes its own imitation of immortality. When asked, how do you write? I invariably answer one word at a time. I recognize terror as its finest emotion, and so I will try to terrorize the reader. But if I find that I cannot terrify, I will try to horrify. And if I find that I cannot horrify, I will grow gross out. I'm not proud. I'm literate. Lord, I can't even talk, guys. I'm literally equivalent of Big Mac and fries. For every 6 crappy poems you read, you actually find 1 or 2 good ones, and that, believe me, is very acceptable ratio of trash to treasure. People who want to know why I do this, why I write such gross stuff, I like to tell them that I have a heart of a small boy and I just keep it in a jar on my desk. Asked why he wasn't personally directing more movies. Just watch Maximum Overdrive. Hello, Pink Fan. It's good to see you, honey. I hope you're doing well, sweetheart. Thank you so much for being in here, sweetie. Because if you don't have time to read, you don't have time or the tools to write. Like anything else that happens on its own, the act of writing is beyond currency, money, and great stuff to have. But when it comes to the act of creation, the best thing is not to think of money too much. It contemplates the whole process. I love the movies, and when I go see a movie that has been made from one of my books, I know that isn't going to be exactly like my novel because a lot of other people have interpreted. But I also know that it has an idea that I like because the idea occurred to me, and I've spent a year or a year and a half of my life working on it. I know writers who claim not to read their notices and not to be hurt by bad ones if they do, and actually believe 2 of these individuals. I'm not one of the other kind, obsessed over possibility of bad reviews and brought over them when they come, but they don't need me down for long. I'll just kill or unalive a few children and old ladies, and then I might write a Tribic again. Wow. Talent is cheaper than table salt. What separates the talented individual from a successful one is a lot of hard work. I've had a lot of deal for years with Castle Rock Entertainment that goes back to Stand By Me 1986. I have told them that you can have my work for $1. What I want from you is script approval, director approval, cast approval, and I want to have authority to push the stop button at any point, regardless of how much money you, the production company, have invested, because none of the money you have put in has gone into my pocket. When I get on the back end, if things work out, is 5% from $1. Books and movies are like apples and oranges. They both are fruit, but taste completely different. On directing Maximum Overdrive, I didn't get the job because I went to film school. I got the job because I'm Stephen King. If you become famous enough, they'll let you hang yourself in Times Square with live TV coverage. I don't feel any urge to control after I sign a piece of paper. I say, see you later. You have what you need, and I have what I want. As long as the check doesn't bounce, you and I are quits. I salute the National Book Foundation Board, who took a huge risk, is giving this award to a man many people see as a rich hack. I know a few writers who claim not to read reviews, and I actually believe one of these individuals. I'm the opposite. I anticipate bad reviews and broad over them when they come, but then I just unalive a few children, old ladies, and I might as well trib it again. Why is that on there again? I don't know. I'm sorry about that. I read this again, but it was on there again. So I apologize, guys. It says on the death of Michael Jackson, strange man, lost man, and not unique in his passing, like James Dean, Elvis Presley, Kurt Cobain, Heath Ledger, and a dozen others we can name. He just left the building far too soon because, man, oh man, that guy could dance. Yes, I love Maximum Overdrive. It's an awesome movie. I didn't believe there was no justification for going on into the war in Iraq, and it just seemed at the time that in the wake of 9/11 with George W. Bush administration was like this angry kid walking down the street who couldn't find whosoever sucker punched him, and so turned around and punched the first lady while suspect. Sometimes the sublimely wrong people can be in power at the time when you really need the right people. When Robert Bloch died, our past, the only thing that anybody really remembered about him is that he wrote Psycho 1960, which became the famous Alfred Hitchcock movie. And whenever I'm introduced, I'm the guy that wrote The Stand. When my name comes up in the blogs these days, it's usually in relation to H1N1. He was the guy who thought about the flu. You can still reconcile the ideas that things are not necessarily going to go well without falling back on platitudes. Like God has a plan, and this is for the greater good. I'm in the supermarket one day with my cart, and there's this woman about 95. She says, I know who you are. You write these stories, those awful horror stories. I don't like that. I like uplifting movies like Shawshank Redemption. So I said, I wrote that. And she said, no, you didn't. And that was it. Talk about surreal. I went to myself for a minute. It's not very much like my other stuff. Maybe I didn't write it. It says in the row in front of us, there were two huge African American men, 250 pounders at least. They're screaming like children. They're grabbing each other around the neck, and one of them says to one another, that's it, that's it. She ain't never gonna be right. And I looked at my wife and I said, this movie's gonna be huge, about caring for 1976. Harry Potter is about confronting fears, finding inner strength, and doing what is right in face of adversity. Twilight is how important it is to have a boyfriend. I was addicted for most of the 80s. It's not a terribly long time to be addict, sorry. But it lasted longer than WW2. Jack Torrance in The Shining, as written, was someone who was a nice guy that went over the edge, not someone who flew the cuckoo's nest from the outset. There was no moral struggle at all. Having kids allows you to finish off your childhood, but from a more mature perspective. Never let the facts get in the way of a good story. Never write a book whose manuscript is bigger than your own head. You have to be a little nuts to be a writer because you have to imagine worlds that aren't there. A short story is like a stick of dynamite with a tiny fuse. You light, and that's the end. My Lord of the Rings of American Landscape. On the sea drug. That's exactly right, hippie grandma. On the sea drug, one snort, and it owned me body and soul. Writing is the only thing I'm good at. I can never do another job. Book chores are like pillow fights, with all the pillage treated with low-grade poison gas. As a kid, I didn't talk much. I wrote. I'm not used to externalizing my thoughts other than on paper, which is typical of writers. One of the reasons that I live in Bangor is because if someone wants to get to me, they have to be really dedicated. I'm a Big Mac of authors. Teaching school is like having jumper cables hooked to your ears, draining all the juice out of you. You should do sex, never write about it. People ask me, when are you going to write something serious? But that's a question that hurts. That's like walking up to a black man and asking how it feels to be a N-word. Oh my goodness. Okay, guys, I'm not prejudiced. I'm just telling you guys what it says. I apologize. Running a supernatural level is like learning to talk after you've had a stroke. I've always believed in God. I also think the capacity to believe is the sort of thing that either comes as a part of your equipment or as a part in your life when you are in a position when you actually need help from a power greater than yourself. You simply make an agreement to believe in God because it will make your life easier and richer to believe than not to believe. So I choose to believe. It says, the fear of the number 13. The number 13 never fails to trace that old icy finger up and down my spine when I'm writing. I never stop work if the page number is 13 or a multiple of 13. I'll just keep on typing till I get to a safe number. I always take the last two steps on my back stairs as one, making 13 into 12. Then we're after all 13 steps on English gallows up until 1900 or so. When I'm reading, I won't stop on page 94, 193, or 382, since the sum of these numbers add up to 13. All those addictive substances are part of a bad side of what we do. Writing is an addiction for me, even when it's not going well. If I don't do it, the fact that I'm not doing it, it nags me. I have nightmares when I'm not working. What doesn't come out on the page just comes out some other way. My brains used to work better. I wrote something last week and I looked at it the other day and thought it was familiar. So I went back 100 pages and found I had duplicated myself. Paging D. Alzheimer's. I'm a hood ornament of the remainders. Good work gets better when it's read out loud, and bad work is mercilessly exposed. It's like shining a strong light on a facial structure. Even good makeup won't hide bad writing. And that's all on that page, guys. There's more, but like I said, y'all are more than welcome to go on this website. It's IB. Well, if I can go to the top, hold on a minute, guys. IMDB. Hey, Sean, it's good to see you. I hope you're doing well, brother. All right, guys. Let's see. Let me see. And this one is the tragic real life story of Stephen King. And this one is the last one that last information that I got from him. Like I said, these people that we cover, there's a lot of information out there for them, but for these people. But I like to pull up information that kind of covers everything that we cover here. And that's interesting, guys. So this is called the on grunge. I can't even talk tonight. Grunge. But we're glad that you're feeling a lot better, Ghost Devil. All right, the tragic real life story of Stephen King. And Stephen King's right here. This picture was taken, or this story was updated January the 23rd, 2023 at 2:17 p.m. Eastern time. So that was just this year, guys. All right, it says as one of the most prolific and popular authors of the last half century, Stephen King has defined horror for a generation. In the 1974 publication of his first novel, Carrie, King began a career that has seen the main narrative rise from struggling writer to pop culture phenomenon whose legions of fans meet him with a kind of adaptation that's usually reserved for athletes and pop stars. Now, in his 70s, King shows no signs of stopping, having written over 60 novels and 200 short stories. King continues to produce what that's both relevant and influential, a true icon in an ever-changing entertainment landscape. His enduring popularity is rare for any celebrity and virtually unheard of for a novelist. At the core of King's success as a storyteller teller is his uncanny ability to channel the essence of ordinary life into extraordinary circumstances. This combed with an uncomplicated prose style has made him horror genre's answer to Bruce Springsteen's popular and populist. Stephen King is a blue-collar boogeyman who delivers frights of people and for the people. You're welcome, Ghost Devil. I am glad that you're feeling better. We was all worried about you when you told us that you had 102 temperature the other day. Lord have mercy. Nevertheless, King's rise to the top of the literacy heap has been anything but easy. From his hand-to-mouth childhood and battle with alcohol and drug addiction to the devastating road accident that nearly claimed his life, the king of horror has suffered more than his share of real-life terrors on a path to wealth and fame. This is a tragic and true story of Stephen King. And there he is, too. Stephen King's Broken Home. He's right there, guys. So Stephen Edward King was born in Portland, Maine on September 21st, 1947 to Donald and Nellie Ruth Pillsbury King, according to Lisa Rogick's 2009 biography, Haunted Heart, The Life and Times of Stephen King. Baby Stephen King's birth came as a surprise. Years earlier, Ruth King was diagnosed as infertile, which had led the Kings to adopt Stephen's older brother, David Victor, in 1945. In the early years of their marriage, Ruth and Donald King were constantly on the move. Donald, a merchant marine who was frequently away from home, as Stephen King writes in 1981 nonfiction book, Danny's Markerby. His father was a fan of horror and science fiction stories and had himself successfully tried his hand at writing. The discovery of a box of his father's books, which included a volume by horror writer H.P. Lovecraft, would prove a revolutionary moment for King. With the end of World War II, Donald King returned home on a more or less permanent basis and took a job as a door-to-door vacuum cleaner salesman. Although Stephen King had virtually no memories of his father, he has described him as a man with an itchy foot. And my mother once told me he was the only man on the sales force who regularly demonstrated vacuum cleaners to pretty young widows at 2 o'clock in the morning, King says. Oh, thank you so much, Ghost. Thank you so much, Ghost. It means a lot. Thank you so much, brother. And thank you, Dicker Duck Coming. Thank you guys so much. It means a lot. Thank you guys so much. Y'all didn't have to do that. It means a lot, guys. It says, when the end of World War II, Donald King returned home on a more or less permanent basis and took a job. Let's see, hold on 1 minute. Yeah. A man with an itchy foot, as my mother once told me, he was the only man with Salesforce who regularly demonstrated vacuum cleaners to pretty young widows at 2 o'clock in the morning. King says when the author was only 2 years old, his father left to get a pack of cigarettes and never returned. Stephen King's mother struggled to make ends meet. And there's another. He's got several different pictures. He's always got that serious look, I think. Faced with supporting herself, 4-year-old David and 2-year-old Stephen alone, Nellie Ruth King often relied on the kindness of relatives while searching for work, constantly on the move. In the 9 years after Donald King's untimely departure, Ruth King, she preferred to be called by her middle name, and her sons found themselves living in Chicago, Fort Wayne, Indiana, Malden, Massachusetts, and West De Pere, Wisconsin. At times, financial circumstances forced her to leave David and Stephen with extended family for weeks or months at a time. In On Writing, a memorial of the craft, King writes, I lived an odd, herky-jerky childhood, raised by a single parent who moved around a lot in my earliest years and who, I am not completely sure of this, may have farmed my brother and me out to one of her sisters for a while because she was economically or emotionally unable to cope with us for a time. My mom was one of America's early liberated women, but not by choice. At times, Ruth King was forced to work 2 or 3 jobs at the time to put food on the table for her tiny family. When babysitters were too expensive, David and Stephen were left alone reading to each other to pass the time and stay out of mischief. In 1958, the Kings finally found a permanent home in Durham, Maine, when Ruth's sister, Ethrin, gave her a house in which to live in exchange for helping care for their ailing parents. Stephen King's traumatic childhood. Well, I will try my best, Rocket Queen, but unfortunately, I have to get up the I have to unfortunately I have to get up I have to pay for the license first before I can get any of what the love and support that y'all sent me, unfortunately. But I'll get it. And this might be trigger warning, guys. I'm not really for sure. I did not go over it, so I'm just gonna put it up there just in case if it is trigger warning to anybody. I don't know why it's just in case. I'm hoping not, but just in case, okay. Says poor health kept young Stephen King home for most of what should have been his first year in elementary school. A case of measles and repeated bouts of strep, which led him to painful ear infections, kept him either in bed or at doctor's office. The treatment, which involved a repeated lancing of his eardrum, left King traumatized. The pain was beyond anything I have ever felt since. The only thing close was the first month of recovery after being struck by a van in summer 1999. King writes, when asked if there was it was the event that in some way warped him into writing horror stories. Stephen King says he can't point to a particular incident. However, he has related one horrifying story that occurred when he was 4. In Daisy McCarby, King states, according to Mom, I had gone off to play at a neighbor's house, a house that was near a railroad line. About an hour after I left, I came back. She said, as white as a ghost, and would not speak for the rest of the day. It turned out that the kid I had been playing with had been run over by a freight train while playing on or crossing the tracks. My mom never knew if I had been near him when it happened, although King claims to have no memory of the incident. Novelist and psychiatrist Janet Jepson told him, you've been writing about it ever since. Wow. Yes, thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much. All right. I'm hoping it shouldn't be too much triggering, but if it is, I will let you guys know. Um, it says although Stephen King earned a partial scholarship into New Jersey's Drew University, his slim finances kept him in home state after high school. Instead, he followed his older brother David to the University of Maine in Orono. In college at the height of Vietnam War, King was active in campus protests and wrote a column for the campus newspaper called King's Garbage Truck. In his freshman year, he made his first professional sales to Starling Mystery Stories. The short story titled The Glass Floor earned the struggling student a windfall of $35. To supplement the weekly stipend of $5 his mother sent him, King took a job in the school's library. There he met a woman who would have become his wife, a history major, an aspiring poet named Tabitha Spruce. He really was literally the poorest college student I've ever met in my life, Tabitha King told Biography in 2000. He was wearing cut-off gum rubbers because he couldn't afford shoes. Wow. In 1970, the couple had a child, a daughter named Naomi. After graduation, King and Spruce married and moved to a trailer in Herman, Maine, while he unsuccessfully searched for a teaching position. King took on a succession of low-paying jobs to make ends meet. The struggling author pumped gas and worked in an industrial laundry. Often depressed, King felt that all he had done with his education was replicate his mother's life. The death of Stephen King's mother. As detailed in his book on writing, A Memoir of the Craft, the sickly 60-year-old King spent better part of his year in bed. To pass the time, King read everything he could get his hands on, from classics to comic books. While convalescing, he made his first tentative steps at composing his own tales. King writes, in imitation preceded creation. I would copy Combat Casey's comic word for word, sometimes adding my own descriptions. The budding author eventually worked up the courage to show one of his hybrid creations to his mother. Ruth King was impressed with her son's effort, but when asked if he made the story up on his own, Stephen sheepishly admitted that he had copied it, admonishing him that he should write his own story. An even better story, Ruth King set her son in the path to becoming an author. Sadly, Nellie Ruth King would not see her son rise to fame as one of the most popular authors of all times. On December the 18th, 1973, just months before the publication of Carrie, she lost a long and torturous battle with cancer. Oh, so sad. The circumstances of his mother's death would have a profound effect on Stephen King, and in 1978, he would publish the short story The Woman in the Room, told from the perspective of a man who euthanizes his dying mother. King wrote the story as a way of dealing with the complicated emotions he had regarding his mother's illness. Wow. Stephen King's first bestseller nearly wound up in the trash. Carrie, a novel of a girl with a frightening power. Stephen King says Stephen King's life would change forever in 1974 with the publication of Carrie. However, the groundbreaking horror novel that launched his careers might never have seen the light of day had not perceptive Tabitha King rescued it from the wastebasket. The elements of Carrie, the story of a trusted teen girl who wreaks bloody vengeance on her high school tormentors with her newly discovered psychokinetic powers, came to King in bits and pieces over a number of years before he finally sat down and wrote it. And King's detail in on writing after furiously typing out 3 single space pages. The frustrated would-be author felt he just couldn't get the handle on the narrative. Uncomfortable with writing this perspective of Carrie's mostly female characters, King gave up and tossed the manuscript in the trash. Fortunately for King, his sharp-eyed wife retrieved and discarded manuscript, smoothed the crumbled pages out and read them, explaining that he was really onto something. Tabitha told him that she could help him with the teen girl's perspective. Harry found the publisher in Doubleday, and King received a modest but most appreciated advance of $2,500 that allowed the struggling family to buy a new car. However, the best was yet to come. On Mother's Day 1973, King found out that the paperback rights for his first novel had sold for the astonishing sum of $400,000, of which he was guaranteed half. Stephen King's days of financial instability were over. He was now a professional novelist. Stephen King's ill-fated attempt at directing. Oh my goodness, look at the picture, guys. By the mid-1980s, Stephen King was a household name, a millionaire, and undisputed master of literature horror. Although many of his works had been adapted for the screen, few had met with King's approval. A Stephen King novel was Money in the Bank, but a film based on Stephen King's novel was constantly dodgy proposition. King, a lifelong fan of cinema, finally got up his chance to step behind the camera in 1986 thanks to Italian movie Mongol Dino de Laternius. According to Slash Film, King and Dean Laternius, I'm probably saying it wrong, but had hit it off during the production of the film's Cat's Eye, an anthology of 3 short stories. Dean Laternius had given King the rare opportunity to adapt his own work for the screenplay and recognized his talent as a visual storyteller. When King expressed an interest in directing, D. Laternius gave the best-selling author a shot. Unfortunately, King's director of debut were proved disastrous. Maximum Overdrive, based on King's short story Trucks about sentient machines taking over the earth, was a critical and box office failure and ultimately frustrating experience for the author, who was deep in the throes of sea addiction and alcoholism during the film's production. The problem with the film is that I was seed out of my mind all through the production, and I really didn't know what I was doing. King tells Tony Mascarell, author of Hollywood Stephen King's Nevertheless, Maximum Overdrive has since garnered a reputation as a cult classic. A crazed fan broke into Stephen King's home, like we just talked about a few minutes ago, guys. 1991, Stephen King experienced a real life horror story so terrifying that could have been ripped from the pages of one of his books. On the morning of Saturday, April 20th, 1991, King's wife Tabitha discovered 26-year-old Eric Keene of San Antonio, Texas, in their stately Victorian home in Bangor, Maine. Keene was carrying a backpack which he claimed contained a bee. Miss King was alone in the house at the time and fled to the neighbors to call the police. When authorities arrived, they discovered King in the King's attic brandishing what appeared to be a homemade detonator. A police dog caused King to drop the device, which discovered to be fake. Although the police initially couldn't establish a motive for the break-in, King revealed to the press that he intended to exact revenge on King for allegedly stealing the plot of his 1987 bestseller Misery from King's aunt. After serving 127 days of the 2-year suspended sentence, King was extradited back to Texas for a parole violation. As reported for Bangor Daily News, King and his wife had dealt with a number of unhinged fans and trespassers, including a California man named Stephen Lightfoot, who asserted that the author was a real assassin of Beetle John Legend and Retroslave Views, a Chicks national who was arrested for stalking after leaving disturbing notes in King's mailbox and confronting his wife Tabitha on the street near their home. Stephen King faces his demons. And I think this has to do with probably his mental health, guys, or his addiction. Thank you guys so much for being in here. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe if y'all haven't done so. It truly means so much to me. It truly does. And on writing A Memorial of the Craft, Stephen King writes that he took his first drink at age 18 on a high school trip to New York and Washington, D.C. As in the case with his most first-time drinkers, he overdid it and wound up violently ill. Still, alcohol became a regular habit from the moment on. Alcoholics build defenses like the Dutch build dikes, King writes. I spent the first 12 years or so of my married life assuring myself that I just like to drink. However, when Maine enacted a returnable bottle law in the 1980s, seeing the sheer number of empties in his recycling made King realize they had a problem, yet he wouldn't be able to address it for several more years. By 1985, King had added an addiction to C to his drinking problem. While on the drug, he would stay up late and his pulse racing dangerously as he wrote. At last, King's wife staged on intervention. Gathering friends and family, Tabitha King confronted the author with his substance abuse and delivered an ultimatum: get clean or get out. Wisely, King chose rehab and has been clean and sober since the 1980s. An accident nearly cost Stephen King his life. On the afternoon of Saturday, June 19th, 1999, Stephen King was taking a daily walk along secluded country road near his home in North Lovell, Maine, While walking against traffic on Route 5, King was struck by a light blue minivan driven by 43-year-old former construction worker Brian Smith. According to The Guardian, Smith had taken his eyes off the road while trying to get control of one of his dogs that was rummaging through his beer cooler. Rolled over the van, King struck his head on the windshield and landed in a ditch 14 feet away from the point of impact. Smith assumed he had struck a deer until he noticed King's bloody glasses on his front seat. King suffered a concussion, a shattered hip and pelvis, broken ribs, a punctured lung, and a fractured thigh bone. He had not quickly pivoted to the left as the van bore down on him. He very well could have been passed on impact. School shootings led Stephen King to pull a book from print. His twisted mind turned a quiet classroom into a dangerous world of terror. Wow. Stephen King's 1977 novel Rage, written under the pseudonym Richard Bachman, has a long and unfortunate connection to school violence. The school of disturbed high school student who takes a classroom hostage at Pew Pew Point. King has described Rage, written in 1965 while the author was still in high school, as the book of unpleasant truths. Rage has been connected to incidents going back to at least 1988, and King decided to have the book removed from circulation. In his 2013 essay, Pew Pews, written in the wake of Sandy Hook Elementary School shootings, King elaborates that although he doesn't believe the novel is sole cause of the incident, and may have acted as possible acceleration, I pulled it because, in my judgment, it may be hurting people, and that made it the responsible thing to do, King writes. Ironically, Rage has become a collector's item since being pulled from print. First editions regularly sell for exorbitant sums. Stephen King's waning eyesight. So I like this one because it shows a lot of pictures, guys. Severely nearsighted since childhood, Stephen King has worn what he's described as Coke bottle glasses for most of his life. However, in a 1999 interview with CBS 60 Minutes, King revealed a much more serious threat to his eyesight than his lifelong myopia. I do have a retinal problem. It's called macular degeneration, King told correspondent Leslie Stahl. Blindness is the ultimate result, but right now I'm fine. I just don't see very well. Related to aging, macular degeneration is the leading cause of vision loss and affects more than 10 million Americans. The progressive condition affects the central portion of the retina, causing a loss of vision in the center of the eye while leaving peripheral vision largely unaffected. That is the part I want to keep as a man as a writer. What I see out of the corners, King jokes. However, the writer has since revealed on his official website that when he does have a genetic predisposition to the condition, he as yet isn't experiencing symptoms. Let's see. Hold on 1 minute. And I guess that's all. Yep. Yeah. That's all. Make sure, guys. Yeah. All right, guys. So what did y'all think? I know that was a lot of talk and that was a lot of information. But what did y'all think about all the information that we covered on Stephen King? Thank you guys so much for being in here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It truly means a lot. Yes, so like he's had a lot of like in my opinion, um yes, he is a terrific author. In my opinion, I think he's just had a lot of traumatic experiences in his life, and he just like I couldn't really find anything that says that he said. I mean, he stated that he suffered with depression and that he was an addict and he on alcoholism and the C word, drugs. So, I think that didn't help. And then, it seemed like that he had a lot of trauma. So I guess he just wanted to put it on paper, in my opinion. In my opinion. I don't think, I mean, he seems like a good person. He just seems like, in my opinion, he has suffered with a lot of trauma through his years. I really do. But I mean, him donating to charity, I think is amazing. I think it's amazing that he went to rehab in the 80s, I believe that's what it was, 80s, and he hasn't went back on alcohol or drugs. I think that's great. So that just shows a positive. That just shows that you guys can do it too. You know, there is hope. You're not alone. There is hope. It can happen. It just goes to show that just because they have all kinds of money, they haven't always been, they haven't always had money. They haven't had to work really hard to get that way, you know. And he just seems like it, he might have a buttload of money, but he just seems like a good, a good person. He seems like that he would do, good things for people, but he just seems like, to me, in my opinion, he seems like that he's had a lot of traumatizing events, and he's wrote about it. It's kind of like a life experience. He just adds more twist to it, if that makes sense. you know Hold on, guys, I'll be right back. Oh my goodness. All right, I'm back. But truly, guys, y'all don't know. I mean, honestly, y'all don't know how much it means to me. The support and the love that y'all show me and Rebel. Y'all truly don't know. You truly don't know how much it means. We're unfortunately we're true as it comes, and we're not bad people, not at all. I would give the shirt off my back. I would give you guys anything if y'all wanted it. It's just how I am. And when I say that I'm there for you guys, I'm there for you guys wholeheartedly. No questions asked. But there's a lot of cruel people in this world. There's a lot of cruel people in this world. And, you know, unfortunately unfortunately you have to be as positive as you can. But, people don't realize all behind all this, there are human beings that have feelings. You know, you can do all this stuff behind an email or behind a message or whatever. But guys, it hurts. You know, people don't realize. And me and Rebel haven't done nothing to nobody. But we're you know, we're technically the you know The rebel family is the bad people. It's very bothersome when we're been real since day one. Since day one, guys. And I'm not going to change for nobody. But you know that good old fashioned knife in the back fucking hurts. It hurts, guys. I just don't know. I just don't understand why people have to be like this. It's crazy. I know. It just sucks. People think that this shit's not real. People think that we don't have to have, we don't have feelings, but we do, and it sucks. So we just have to try to be as positive as we can, you know. Well, you know, a lot of people have said, me and Rebel, we're we haven't changed. We're the same as what we've always been. So I don't know where this stuff is coming from. I have no idea. And all of you beautiful people that have supported us since day one, are still the same people. Are still the same people. We're just stronger because we've been through a lot of shit, you know. But it just sucks. It just sucks. But I'm just gonna keep. We're just gonna keep on being positive, and you know, even though those people are mean, because this is just how I am, I still care for them and I still love them because that's just how I am. And I guess that's what bites me in the ass so bad. You know, I can't help it. But I've always been like that. I'm not going to change. Unfortunately, people show their true colors and it's shocking for a lot of people. But, me and Rebel are 100% like, we're us. We're not going to change for nobody. We're most definitely not fake. We're most definitely not fake. And I'm just thinking it's crazy. You know. When I tell you guys to be kind to one another, it's truly the truth because you don't know what people are going through. I know I'm off subject, but I went through so much and I just want to kind of not tell you guys what's going on. I'm just kind of telling you guys a little bit how I feel, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I don't normally tell you guys. I'm normally, like I've talked to a couple people today and they're like, you know, they're like, I'm like, I need somebody to talk to. And they're like, what? Okay. because I'm one of those people. I will put my junk on the back burner because I've always been like that. And I just love you guys. I want to be there to support you guys because I've always been like that. You know, I've always been like that. I'm not going to change. And because some people, you know, listen and listen and listen and listen to he said, she said, and all this stupid crap, you know, you're not seeing the truth. If you, I mean, if anybody had an issue with me, I'm just pointing just point blank and simple. Yeah, we need to be grown adults. One, and if anybody had an issue with me, you need to come to me. If you had an issue with any of the Rebel family, come to them personally. Don't do this because it affects people. Like it's ridiculous. You know, I just don't understand why people do what they do. You know, I really don't. But we just have to do the best we can. And when I tell you guys, you know, I love and care for you guys, I truly do. I truly do. Truly, I could not do this. And Rebel, and I say the same thing he says, but wholeheartedly, we wholeheartedly mean this with all our heart. We cannot do what we do without you amazing people supporting us 100%. And people can call us fake. People can call us this. I'm telling you guys, 100%. We cannot do what we do without you beautiful, amazing people standing behind us and supporting us the way you guys do. Seriously. Hey, little leg day or Osmic. Good to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's crazy. It's crazy how people are doing. It's crazy. You know, me and Rebel are me and Rebel. Like we're us. We're not. I'm in the same since day one. I've just added more stuff to the. I've added more stuff to the live, but not necessarily bad, positive. You know, and you know, Rebel is still Rebel. Like we're not, and unfortunately, people say we're fake and we're this and this and this and this, and we're just us. I just don't understand. If somebody had a problem with somebody, come to that person. Don't take it out on that person and don't do this and this and this and this and this. It's terrible. It's terrible. We're human. We have feelings. It's a terrible thing. Don't do it. Hello, Bambi. It's good to see you, love. I hope you're doing well, sweetheart. Aw. Well, we hope so, Bambi, honey. We hope so. We pray for you, sweetheart. I hope so. That would be awesome news, but we'd still pray for you, darling. We love you. Y'all pray, pray, pray that maybe a friend of hers might be giving her his kidney. That would be awesome. Yes, that would be awesome, honey. Yes, that would be awesome. I'm just saying, you know, just people need to learn how to watch what they say and don't degrade other people because you have a problem with somebody else. You just don't do that. You just don't do that. If you like I said, if anybody had an issue with me, you come to me. You don't come to behind this person and then this person and this person and this person. You don't do that. That's just childish. Be a grown adult. And if you have an issue, talk to that person, try to work it out and go from there. If you can't work it out, then part your ways. But don't, you know, do this behind somebody's back. It's terrible. You know, it's a terrible feeling. Just don't do that. You know, it's really bad. And that's why I always tell you guys, nobody's better than nobody. Everybody be humble because you don't know how people's life has been. And nobody, I mean, as the old saying goes, and I don't give a damn. Everybody's shit stinks. I don't give a damn who you are. You could be a millionaire, you could be a billionaire. Your shit's still gonna stink. I'm just saying at the end of the day. I'm just saying, nobody's better than nobody. We're all human. We all have, our flaws. But, if you have an issue with somebody, take it up with that person. Don't take it up with somebody else and say they're this and this and this and then this. That's just not right. That's just not a way that you're supposed to handle things. You're not supposed to do things like that. Or taking it out on somebody because somebody else pissed you off. Like, how childish is that? That's absolutely, why would you do something like that? Just my opinion. I just don't understand why people do, and then make absurd, like crazy, crazy comments, which none of them make any sense. I'm just saying. You know. Oh, you're fine, little leg day. You're always welcome here. You should know that, brother. Since day one. I know you've been over here since day one on Mining Rebels. Don't you worry about it. You ain't cause no issues. You're good. You're always welcome here. You come in here anytime you want to. Anytime. I just want you to know that any one of you guys are welcome. Anytime. Anytime. What done in the dark shall come to light. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's crazy. You just don't treat people like this and think it's okay. I'm just saying. We got 37 people watching, and they might not be in chat, but y'all can at least hit the like button because what I'm saying is the truth. So go ahead and hit that like button. Just saying. It's just my opinion. I'm almost 37 years old. I graduated from high school in 2005. I have nothing to hide. Two, I've been true. I'm too honest, I guess you could say. But I've been told that, a lot of people, that me and Rebel are fake and that the rebels are fake and blah, 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 blah. No. Nope. No. Karma is. Absolutely. It's terrible. It's a terrible feeling. It sure is. That's why I said 30 and 38 people were watching. You might got to be in chat. Hit that like button because what I'm saying is the truth. And the thing about it is, I'll get things later or whatever, and they'll say, well, she was hitting around and talking about us. No, I didn't say nobody's name. I'm just saying in general. If you got a problem with anybody in general, you need to go to that person specifically, not this, because one, we're here to have entertainment. We're here to bring awareness for missing children, if that's the case. We're here to get positivity. or whatever we are here for on YouTube is what we're here for on YouTube. We're not here for he said, she said, high school bullshit and bullying. We're not here for that, So I haven't said anybody's name, and I won't say anybody's name because I'm just saying in general, if anybody has a problem with anybody, don't take it out on somebody else. Go to that person, try to work it out. If it doesn't work that way, you don't go doing this, and this, and this. That's being two-faced. You go to that person, work it out, and you try to work it out as an adult. And if that doesn't work out, then you just be civil and part your ways. You don't have to go behind somebody's back, blah, 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 blah. You don't do that. You just don't do that to people. Love to you too, honey. Did you change your name? I love it. Love to you too, honey. I know. Sexy, sexy. Thank you, darling. Thank you, sweetheart. You didn't have to do that, but thank you. I'm just saying, geez, it's ridiculous. Be an adult. We are all adults. If you have a problem with somebody, go to that person. Good Lord. There's too much negativity and hatred and all this on these YouTube streets. It's ridiculous. Be positive. And if there's an issue with something, or you got something to say to somebody, make it privately. Because it just, it doesn't, for one, it makes you look bad because you're in the mix of the he said, she said stuff, and you're being involved in it when you could just easily go to a person and private message them or email them or talk to them on the phone or whatever, just to figure out what the deal is and, work it out. I know I love her name. When did you change your name, girl? I love it. I love the name. Long snowy winters is very depressing. She's going to get me so confused about Sudam. I'm like, I don't know who that is. You got confused me, girl. Oh my goodness. Look what hippie grandma's put. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, hippie grandma. That's funny. That's funny. Ruffles on my panties. A couple of days ago, Zero Fox given gay. They've named me and it stuck. They just call me Ruffles for short. Okay, Ruffles. Well, at least we know who you are. At least we know who you are, girl. And you don't have to call me Mrs. Rebel. I appreciate it, but you don't have to call me that. You can call me Angel or you can call me Becca, but there's already a Becca, so whichever. But you don't have to call me Mrs. Rebel unless you want to. You're fine, little leg day. You're fine, brother. Much respect. You're good. No worries. You're good, bro. Yeah, We respect and love each and every one of you guys. Seriously, we do. Oh my goodness. Beachy's changing her name. Oh Lord. Oh Lord have mercy. We gonna have all kinds of ruffles in here. I'm gonna be all confused. Oh Lord have mercy. Oh my goodness gracious, guys. Y'all are a hoot. Oh, Rebel said he's changing his name too. What are you changing yours to, Rebel? I'm changing mine to, oh Lord. Lord have mercy. If they hated me before somebody owned my beer. Oh my gosh, did y'all see what Rebel put? Rocket Queen said, make sure you tell me your name. I think you're a troll. Oh my goodness gracious. Everybody's gonna be changing their name. I'm gonna be all damn confused. Oh Lord, Hippie Grandma said rebel to streaks in my drawers. I told you guys. And he's been a hoot since day one. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Oh my goodness gracious, guys. No, you ain't. You don't wear them. No, you ain't. Nope. No. I better not request Skid Row for bumper. Rebel would get paranoid. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, well, happy early wedding anniversary, Miss Sunshine. Yay. That's great, honey. Congratulations and happy early wedding anniversary, darling. Haynes, her way or his way. Oh my goodness gracious, guys. Oh, Lord have mercy. You're welcome, darling. Deer tamales? I don't think I've ever had a deer tamale. Just sat down to eat these deer tamales. They so damn good. I know what tamales are, but I've never heard. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to read the chat and I'm talking about deer tamales and Rebel's talking about free falling. Oh Lord have mercy. Oh my gosh. Oh my Lord. Oh, they are really? I love some deer meat. Love some deer meat. Love, love, love some deer meat. So good. And deer jerky? Yes. Rebel, I'm sensitive. Right, Queen said I'm sensitive. Oh, Lord have mercy. I'm telling you. Oh, don't tell him that. Next time y'all do music, he'll be singing, I'm free, free balling. We need to get Becca to eat some. No, 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 and no. I know what mountain oysters are, and I am not eating it. No. Mm-mm. No. Ripple, that's okay. I'll send you some dude wipes. Evie and Ripple said, ooh, no. Sunshine said she likes elk meat. Is elk meat like deer meat? Hey, sassy country girl. It's not over with yet, darling. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well, sweetheart. My brother hooked me up with like 8 packs of backstrap and 5 packs of tamales. Cool. Oh my goodness. Y'all are on a hoop tonight. Y'all are on a hoot or on a roll or whatever it's called. Really? I've never had elk. I love some deer meat, but I've never had elk. Hmm, that's interesting. Doing good. How are you, darling? Yeah, I don't believe unless they said it was deer meat and wound up being elk. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm doing okay, honey. Thank you for asking, sweetheart. Snake is good too. What's up, Sub Zero? Good to see you, darling. I hope you're doing well. She says, watching an episode of Impractical Jokers tonight. They mentioned uncut pride of the bull. Y'all know what that alludes to, right? Oh, your husband hunts, Sunshine. Oh, that's cool. So y'all have plenty of meat. And Mermaid says she's had gator. Hmm. Why hell? Bunny rabbit? The bonfire's gonna be epic. Epic. Oh, y'all are probably the first two that's went ahead and put in the emails already. I bet. Well, that's good. We at least got two so far. The hair bands. And Rocket Queen, I'm going to have to call you because you're going to have to help me, or you're going to have to like help me. I'm going to have to call you, and you're going to have to help me like figure out how to tease my hair because I do not know how to tease hair, girl. Don't know how to do it. I know you still tease your hair, but I don't know how to do it. My hair's flat. I can't. My hair's flat. Okay. My hair's flat. I don't know how to tease hair. Yeah. I'm gonna have to like video call you, girl. I need some pointers on teasing hair. Don't know. You think you can? You know what Rebel said when he said, you're gonna have to tease your hair. And I'm like, well, you know who I'm gonna call to help me tease my hair. And he's like, Rocket. I said, yep. Absolutely. Because I have no idea. And my hair is thin, guys. It's thin. So I don't even know if it would even stay teased. My hair is thin. I don't know. Aquanet. Rebel, you can help me tease my hair with Rocket Queen's help. Oh my goodness. You have to use enough Aquanet to freeze flies in midair. Um, okay. All righty then. Okay. You're fine, sassy honey. Thank you so much for coming in here, sweetheart. I understand. I understand, darling. I bet you know some hair bands, hippie grandma. I bet you do. And don't even realize that you do. Pink fans showing flies. Oh my goodness gracious, guys. And thank you for watching the replay, Miss Sassy. Make sure you guys hit that like, share, and subscribe if y'all haven't done so. Thank you guys so much for being in here. It truly means so much to me. It truly does. More than you guys know. Y'all are on a roll. Y'all are cracking me up. Rebel said here, I'm gonna share that. Well, sorry. Sorry, Ruffles. I was gonna say panties. Lord have mercy. Sorry, Ruffles. Send your 80s hairband request for this Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Send it at that email. And it has to be sent in Thursday night before midnight Eastern time to be played on Friday at 7 p.m. Yes, Ruffles, you're going to love it because we do that every Friday for the bonfire. So you send in your request by email or Facebook or whatever. I mean, you don't have email, which most people do, but send it by email, or you can send it to me on Messenger, or just send it to somebody. Say, hey, this is for Ruffles. This is her request. Because we always have a different oh gosh, now I can't even say the word John. Oh my goodness, I was reading it earlier. Now I can't say it without reading it. Oh my goodness. We have a different topic or whatever. John, I don't know what it's called. Y'all know what I'm talking about. A different one every week. So last week was R&B. This week is 80s hairs bands. Next week might be something different. Next week, so it's something different every week. It's something different every week. Genre, whatever. Y'all know what I meant. When I'm reading it, it's fine. when I'm saying it, it's totally different. I don't know. Oh my goodness gracious. This week is 80s hairband sassy, honey. Bull crap, Rocket Queen. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You goofy. And we just play what y'all request. Whatever people request, we just play it music wise. And we just chill out, have a good time, and just listen to music. And then on Saturday nights, whatever the wheel spins, like this Saturday, we call it a concert, but it's not really a concert. It is, but it ain't. We play like 15 to 20 songs of whatever the band is that the wheel picks, and then that's who we play the songs for. So this week, this Saturday is ACDC. So we'll be playing, or Rebel, which is the DJ. We'll be playing about 15, at least 15 songs of different ACDC songs. And that's what we consider concert. Whatever the band is, he plays about 15 to 16 songs of that. And we just rock out and have a good old time. There's no drama over here, honey. Drama free over here. It's positive and good vibes over here, honey. Positive and good vibes over here always. We don't deal with drama over here, honey. So I pick a song and email it to y'all, and it'll be played at the bonfire. Yes, as long as you get it in before 12 p.m. Eastern time, or I'm sorry, midnight Eastern time Thursday night. So if you have a song in mind and you don't want to forget about it or whatever, the sooner that you send it in, the better. So that way you don't forget. Because some people forget and they're like, oh man, I really forgot to put in my song, and they put it in afterwards, and he can't play it because it's not it, it's gotta be fair for everybody. So that's why he always says, he always says that specific time. So it gives everybody a chance to give them a couple days ahead of time. So like Sean and his wife has already turned theirs in. Oh Lord, has already emailed Rebel. You can email. I mean, like it's a whole week, so you can email him anytime, and it'll be in there and prepared for the bonfire. The bonfire on Fridays, so it's already there. So if you're like oh man, I forgot to send in a song, and you already sent it in, then and you're good. Yes. Yes, Ruffles. You had your panties all in a ruffle that day, wiggling all over the place. Whoop, whoop. Excuse me. I had moonshine today, 3 weeks of fridge, and it's tasty. I bet you that stuff is stout rift. Watermelon moonshine. I bet you that's pretty good. Lord, I haven't drunk in so long. It's been years. I'd probably one sip and I'd be lit. I don't drink that much. Maybe once a year, if that. It's not. Me and Rebel don't drink that much at all. We don't. You said it was watermelon, right, Rift? Watermelon moonshine? Super yummy and 3 shots. I was tight. Yeah, watermelon. Yeah, it sounds good. Well, at least you was dancing with me, Ruffles. Woo, 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 woo. Oh my goodness. There is nobody starting any drama in this chat. Nobody. I don't either and drank for the first time in 5 years for Wild Angel's birthday. And well, the rest is kind of, know, I'm, I'm sure it was. 5 years, I bet you like one taste and you're like, whoop. That's funny. Yes, she is. We have excellent minds in here, and we don't deal with drama. It's all positivity, which y'all been in here before, so y'all know it's positivity. Nobody's stirring up nothing. I had pillows up my shirt. Oh my goodness. Ruffles. Thank you, Rocket Queen, honey. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness, you're on a hoop tonight. No, we talk about Stephen King and now we're talking about ruffling panties and watermelon moonshine and Rebel changing his name to to whatever he decided. Oh Lord. Oh my goodness, guys. Okay. Probably a good thing, but I can't get drunk. Oh my goodness, guys. Something wrong with me. I tried for real. Thank you, AB, for putting us in there, honey. Moonshot stuff you can buy in stores just ain't the same. Yeah, I've tried those since years ago. And I'm just like, oh, okay. I'm good, honey. Thank you. I'm doing a lot better. Thank you, darling. Oh, also his is homemade watermelon. I bet you that stuff is potent. Woo! Woo, Lord. Positivity, good vibes, and solo cups. Red solo cup. I'll fill you up. Let's have a party. Oh, Lord, have mercy. I make sweet tea and a little moonshine for the hard days. I know one of you drinks sweet tea all the time. No, I'm just playing, Rift. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. What's up, BH? Good to see you, brother. Our soul brother. Good to see you. BH ain't gonna know who you are, Ruffles. That's funny. Oh my goodness. I know he's our soul brother. Oh, hippie grandma wants some riff. Is Ruffles rebel? No, no. Rebel, are you still in here? Rebels ain't rebel. No, honey. No, Ruffles ain't rebel, brother. She said, nope. Oh my goodness gracious. He probably would. He probably would. Y'all know him by now. He probably would. And not unless he's got rebels on his boxers. Hey, you never know. We're talking about rebel here. You never know. Oh my goodness gracious. He got a pair of rebels. Rebels is giving y'all clues, guys. Rips, your moonshine, your watermelon moonshine's kicking in, brother. You good. BH only came in here because he heard panties. He heard ruffly panties. Oh my goodness gracious. Well, at least we're not talking about what is it, Gorilla Glue? Oh Lord. BH, you ain't never gonna leave that one down. Never. Oh my goodness, look what Evie put. Oh my goodness gracious. Rebel, where are you at? Uh-huh. Gorilla glue. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The dog had him. Oh Lord, have mercy. You're a mess. I can lend him one, just one. I thought they come in two. You can lend him one, Rocket Queen. Just one. Hello, Salo Official Vlog TV. Hello, welcome. Welcome. Thank you so much for being in here. Welcome, welcome. I love seeing new faces. Welcome. My dog ate your dog ate one. The one that snores. Oh Lord have mercy. Oh my goodness. Rocket Queen said my dog ate one. And then Riff said, I'll give you one more. Oh my Lord. She's got a big dog. What is he, a boxer? Is that what kind of dog he is, Rocket Queen? She's got a big dog and he snores. He's a big old dog. I think it's a he. Oh, don't give your dog a complex if it's not a he. I'm sorry. Bull mass. Yeah, it's huge. It's a big dog. It's a big dog. Oh my Lord. I know you'll send it to me, Rocket Queen. Oh Lord. I can just imagine. Rebel's missing all this. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness, Rocket. I want to see the picture Sean sent. Oh my goodness. We talk about Stephen King and then we get on totally different, guys. Totally different ball game. Oh my goodness gracious. I need a pair of those pretty ruffled peonies for my anniversary. Woo woo, bam chicka wow wow. Yeah, Miss Sunshine. Hey, he might. Hey, he might. You never know. I'm just saying, he might. He might. DH, are you the guy that makes the 3D print stuff? I don't know. Hey, they could be. They could be even. You never know, honey. I didn't know that, BH. Cool. Well, y'all got me laughing. Talking about ruffle underwear and all kinds of random stuff. Oh my goodness. The crazy stuff we talk about in here, guys. It's all positivity. Laughing is great. Laughing is great. Laughter makes you feel better. And music is great. And positivity is great. And good vibes is great. And no drama is even greater. And no negativity is great. Being the good in the world is great. Lifting each other up. Being there for one another. Supporting one another. That's what this channel's all about. Look what Rip put. Oh, Lord have mercy. Mm-mm-mm. Rip, your wife see that, she's going to knock you out with a cast iron skillet. Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh, my Lord. I remember that one time she was telling you to get up here and sing and all that. See you, honey. Thank you so much for coming in here, sweetheart. You're welcome anytime, darling. If you haven't subbed up, please hit the subscribe and hit the notifications all so that way you know anytime I go live. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful night, Miss Sassy. Thank you so much for coming in here, darling. You're welcome, sweetie. Beach blanket bingo. I have no idea. No clue, honey. Oh my goodness. I'm telling y'all are on a roll. Weird science girl. He's got to be rebel. Who's got to be rebel? He's got to be rebel. Movie from the 1960s. I probably don't, honey. Probably not, sweetheart. I have to pull it up. Lots of dancing on the beach. Good night, hippie grandma. I love you, honey. Thank you for coming in here. It means a lot, sweetheart. I love you. I'm getting ready to jump off here too. I know we're having a good time, but I have to get up early in the morning to put these kiddos on the bed. Rip still thinks Ruffle is Rebel. Rebel, please come in here so you can show Rip that it's not. Ruffles is not Rebel. Oh my goodness gracious. That's funny. I love you, Ruffles, honey. Thank you, sweetheart, for coming in here, darling. Ruffle Rebel. No. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. Truly. All right. I'm getting ready to jump off here. Unfortunately, thank you guys so much for coming in here. It means so much to me. It truly, truly, truly does. It truly does. Now, this is not the bully zone. How is this a bully zone when we're sitting here having fun? Is this a bully zone? Can I join? No. There's no bully zone here. It's all positivity and good vibes. No bullying. Lord have mercy. Jeez. People, get a life. Please, just get a life. Anyway, y'all have a wonderful night. Thank you guys so much for coming in here. It means so much to me. It truly does, guys. It truly does. We cannot do what we do, what me and Rebel do, without all you beautiful, wonderful people. It means so much to me. I guess so. Anyway, I love you guys. And remember to lift each other up, be there for one another, support one another. Please. Support one another. Be the good in the world. There's too much negativity in this world. Be a positive change in people's life. You know, please. Lord knows. Please. But I love you guys. Thank you guys so much. Truly. It means so much to me. All the support and the love. It means so much to me. And also, you don't know what people are going through. You have no idea what they've been through in their life. You don't know what people are currently going through. So be kind to one another. Be kind to one another, period. And just lift each other up, guys. You know, the world's going to be a better place if we don't deal with the negativity. So I love you guys. Y'all have a wonderful night, and I will see you guys really soon, okay? Love y'all. Thank you guys again. It means so much. I will see you guys tomorrow. It's set up for, we're going to talk about hoarding disorder, not hoarding disorder. But I love you guys. Y'all have a wonderful night and sleep well. And I'll see you guys later, okay? Love you guys. Thank you guys again. See ya. Positivity only, guys. Good vibes. Love y'all.